So I can write with my finger. It's just going to be big. All right. I'll just try that. I'm just going to write with my finger today. My finger painting. Yeah, it's out of charge. It's empty. What's that? And no, I think it's got to be the Apple thing. Yeah. Do you mean you have something else?
Well, I have a pen with
Yeah, I could try it.
finger though, I should work on that.
You got? Yeah, I'll try it. I'm game. If you're game, it's got to beat my finger. All right. So plug in the y behind the y. The 29, right, is the y, and the negative 9 behind the x, and then the slope goes in the m slot, right? And then you put that slope over 1, right? That negative 3 over 1.
I just didn't put the 1 under it. Because right here.
Well, it could be hella picky though.
So, I think it'll be. Because right here, that's when you put the 1 somewhere.
Ooh, whole thing moved. Whoa. Technical difficulties. Today's the day of technical difficulties. All right. Yeah, this is kind of working. Maybe. You got to push kind of firmly. All right. So we got to plug in the negative 9 and the 29. All right. So the negative 9 is an x. So negative 9. Come on, baby. There we go. And the 29. 29.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody good so far?
Yeah.
Everybody see what I did? I plugged in the x behind the x, the y behind the y. And then, yeah, these two negatives, they're going to become plus, as you know. And what do you do with the negative 3? Because you got to make it look like a fraction, don't you? Over 1, huh? Yeah, you know that. We've done that a few times. Put that over 1. Yeah, this thing's working. All right, and then, whoops, I keep doing that. Come on. Boom, boom, like that, right? Diagonal, diagonal. We okay? To there. All right. And then I need to come up here. I'm gonna like totally run out of room because I'm writing like monster big. Okay, so negative 3 x plus 29. My finger kind of works too.
That's nice.
1. Oh yeah, not 29, huh? I'm changing the problem. Is 1 times y minus 29. All right. So we good to there?
Yeah.
So far so good? I need to go to a new screen. Minus 3x plus 9. All right. All right, so minus 3x plus 9 equals, what is it, 1y minus 29. We good to there? So distribute. Minus 3x minus 27 is y minus 29. We happy with that? Now how do we solve? Last step is always getting y alone, huh? See right here, they want y alone in the answer. So what do we do to get y alone?
Add 29.
Did I do something bad? No, it's all good. Minus 29. Now, add the 29 to both sides. Y equals minus 3x plus 2. And we're done. Is that making more sense? These find the equation kind. It's definitely on the test in the week. It's one of the hardest things there. So think we watched football maybe the other day. The football team gains 29 and then loses 27, they're 2, 4.
Yeah.
Right, so once he gains 29 and loses
X
27.
minus.
From your bank
negative
account?
9, X minus a negative 9, that's in parentheses.
She's not asking about that. You're right, what you're saying, but I want to answer her question. She's saying these reasons, right? Right? Think about your bank account. Gain $29 and lose 27, you're up 2. So you're thinking of multiply. A negative times a positive multiplies. They don't add subtract. They can be positive or negative. You can use calculator and all that stuff too. All right, we good there? We good? All right. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do another one. Let's try this one. So this one, they're not giving us a slope, right? So go ahead and find your own slope, right?
17.
Right. Yeah, I encourage you to do my way. Might do the one we did last week. It was I think it was well, that's what we did. What did we do? 4, 2.
Yeah, X1, 1, yeah.
And
So let's find the slope, right? Calculus 9 minus 21, right?
Yeah, you can do whichever order you have.
feel free to shuffle those around, Jim. See if you're getting the same answer.
So you're 2 over
Negative 1.
See? What is it? This is your 1?
17 minus 5.
So that's your X1?
Yep. Well, exclude.
X2 right here. So you put, that's when you put the negative 2.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The negative. Alright, so let's do that. That should be it.
Okay, what was the slope on this one? Okay, I don't know what it is without doing it. Let's see. So slope, so this is the one where you do all 4 numbers, right? Like y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We good? All 4 numbers, right? And then after we get the slope, then we'll do what we did on those other ones, huh? So, so plug them in. Now, remember, this is, I don't know if I can write small enough. I'll go over here. 1721, and the other one's 59. Getting kind of scribbly there. 59. This is x1, y1, x2, y2, huh? So then the slope is y2, which would be the 9, minus y1, which is the 21, over x2, 5, minus x1, 17. And you can actually reverse that formula. You go y1 minus y2. That'll work too, and x1 minus x2. It works either way. So it was a 12 minus 12 over...
Minus 12.
Is that minus 12? Isn't it just 1?
Yeah.
Am I doing something wrong? I think it's 1, right? And positive, because 2 negatives make positive. Yeah, so the slope just comes out positive 1. Is that good so far? So we're halfway there. So that's positive 1. That's the slope. Now we need to write the m formula a second time where we do the blanks at the back. Does that make sense? So let me go to a new screen and write what we've got. Okay, so now we know. So now I'm going to write m. I've got m equals 1 from the last part, and I go y minus blank over x minus blank. Now, you don't put in all four numbers, huh? Now you just put in either these two at the back or those two. It doesn't matter which pair. Either pair will work out to be the same answer in the end. So like I might just do the 17 and the 21. So and of course the m goes there. So 1 equals y minus over x minus, and I put the x is 17, right? So I put that behind the x, and the y is 21. But you could do the other pair, the 5, 9. It would work out the same in the end. Everybody seeing what I'm doing there? So the blank. So notice we're doing the m thing two ways, huh? One time we do like all four numbers, and we get our slope. And then we do it again where we just put the blank, just the two numbers in the back. And we leave y next there. Right? Everybody see the two ways we do the m thing? All right, what do I do from here?
You add a 1 on the.
Over 1, right? Because you got to make it look like a fraction, right? Whenever there's a number out here, like last time I made like -3 or something, or 3, or whatever it was, we put it over 1, right? Make it look like a fraction, and then what do I do? Diagonal, diagonal, cross multiply. Yeah. Getting the hang of that? Is that making sense? So then I'll come up here. What do we get?
Y equals 1x+4.
Is that what it is? That sounds right. y minus 20. Am I on the screen there? No, I am not on the screen at all. So x minus 17 with a 1 in the front equals 1y minus 21. I'm on the screen almost. All right, so then distribute. So you get x minus 17, distribute, y minus 21. Last step is getting y alone. They always want to get y alone. What do you do to get y alone?
Add 21.
Y's right here saying, give me a loan, so add 21 to both sides. X plus 4 is y. We got it. How many got that? How was that one? Oh, good. You guys are getting it. Good. Questions I can answer on that one? No questions? Am I feeling a little bit better? All right. So, all right, slope is 5, 6. Y-intercept is 0, 5. So how do we do that? How do we actually do that? So now we don't want the equation. They want a picture, right? We just spent time, we can get the equation and do our thing, but we don't want to do that. In this one, we want a picture. So where do we go first to get our picture? We need a dot, right? We just need 2 dots.
Y-intercept.
Yeah, y-intercept would be a great place.
Graph the y-intercept and then go up 5 over 6.
Exactly. So what's the y-intercept right here? Can we find that point? Let me make a graph here because that'll be easier, I think. Over, remember the first number's over. First number's x, second number's y, if you can read that, scribble. Over 0, up 5. Right there. Over 0, up 5. All right, and then where do we go from that dot? Yeah, remember it's rise over run for that slope, huh? Up 5. So if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, huh? Whoops, I missed, but you get the idea. Supposed to hit that dot. There's all you got to do, right? You just do it on the Math Excel thing. So start it over 0, up 5. Put your dot down, then go up 5 over 6. Rise and run. Is that good? Look, you could do that on the test and on the homework. Questions? We good? All right. All right, so let's try that one. Slope. Notice the slope is negative, right? So it's negative 4/9. What do you do? What do we do with negative signs on a fraction? Top, bottom, both. What do we do? Top, right? I just always put them on the top. Same thing here, right? So do the same thing we always do. Take that negative sign and put it on the top. Take that negative and put it on the top. All right, so try that. So you can get a graph. They want you to get the first dot and then a second dot. So let's see if you can get those 2 dots. So where's the first dot?
6 and
3, 4, 5, 6, right there. Over 0, up 6. There's our first dot. Right, first number's over, second number's up. So over 0, up 6. And now, how do we get, remember it's rise over run. How do we get to our second dot? Down 4 over 9. Down 4 over 9. So down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is the other dot. Connect the dots. We just want to make sure you were good with the negative thing, right? So when the slope is negative 4, that means go down 4. Good? All right. All right. Try that one. Slope negative 7, y-intercept 0.8. So on your own papers there, go ahead and graph it real quick. All right, so where do we start? Right there, over 0, up 8. Right, start up there at that dot, go straight up 8, and then where do we go from there? What do you do with that slope? Slope minus 7. Yeah, let me write it over here. Slope minus 7. You put it over 1, huh? Like what we always do. So that's rise over run. So that's down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1. My line's kind of curvy, but real curvy. I got a C in art in 7th grade, and that was the end of my art career. So, and I was trying. All right, so there we go. Questions on that one? We good? All right, graph the equation using the slope and y-intercept. So 3x minus y equals 2. Okay, so they're changing things up now, right? They want me to graph, and they're giving me the equation. So how do we do it? Good job, exactly. So go ahead and do the work to get y by itself first.
Divide the negative.
All right, so y wants to be alone. What's the first step of getting y alone? Grab that 3x and jump it over, like that. What happens when something jumps to the other side of the equation?
It flips.
The sign in the front flips. The sign in the front changes, huh? You guys with me on that? Is that okay? So I'm going to grab that 3x, and I'm going to jump it to the other side. And when you do the sign in the front, what's in front of the 3x right now?
Positive.
And nothing, which means positive. So when he jumps over there, what will go in front of him is negative. He'll become negative 3x, right? So that'll become negative 3x plus 2. And notice that minus is still in front of the y. That hasn't gone anywhere, right? Whoops, there we go. Right? Everybody good to that step for now? So when you jump things to the other side of the equal sign, the sign in the front changes. Now, are we done there? Y's not quite alone. It's got a minus sign in front of it. So what do we do about that? Yeah, because that's really a minus 1, isn't it? So you got to go through and divide by minus 1 all the way across. It cancels out those minuses, right? Because 2 minuses make a plus. Yeah, and then all the signs change, huh? Positive 3x minus 2. Everybody good there? Everybody see what happened there? Right, so when I divided through by negative 1, the two negatives became a positive 1. Right? Two negatives here became positive 3x. And positive over negative, one negative became negative. Is that good? Are we happy with that? Questions I can answer? Now we got to graph it though, huh? So now it's time to graph it. So what do I do first? Where's my first point for graphing? Yeah. You start here at negative 2. Right there. Right at negative 2. And then where do you go from there? Yeah, 3 over 1. Rise over run. Up through 1, 2, 3 over 1. Connect the dots. And we're done. Is that okay? Questions on that? Is that good? No questions? Am I going too fast? Are you okay? Does anybody look back at the YouTube? These are on YouTube, right? You know they're on YouTube? Just type in Brett Hare. Anybody do that? Is it working? Some people were saying it's kind of hard to hear at times. Is it hard to? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what James was saying too. So can you hear it all or sometimes? But sometimes not, huh? Yeah. Is that what you guys are experiencing? Is it working for you? Can you hear? All right, so let me see. Let's try. All right, let's try that one. 7y plus 2x is 7. All right, so solve for y first off. Solve there for y, get the y alone. All right. So what's the first step, guys? Y's over here saying, I want to be alone.
Put 2x on the other side.
Yeah. Do I get rid of that 7 first off?
Not yet.
So you save the number right next to the y for last, huh? That's going to be divided at last. So first you grab the 2x and jump it over. What sign's in front of the 2x right now is plus. So when it jumps to the other side, it's going to have what in front? It's going to be negative, huh? So bring down the 7y. And it's going to be negative 2x plus 7. Good so far? And then what do? We divide, right? By 7. So y is minus 2/7 x plus 1. All right, let's go to the graph. Where do we start? Now, whatever that number off to the right is, that's our starting number, up 1. Like that. And then where do we go from this is rise, overrun. Right, so go down 2,
7.
over 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to run out of room here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Connect the dots. We are done. Are we good there? How many got that graph? Okay, that's good. The majority of you are getting it. Questions I can answer? All right. Okay. So, all right, so they want us to find the slope. Rate's just, they say find the rate, you know? That's just a fancy word for slope. So they want us to find slope, really.
This is a little bit easier because they're giving you the slope and the y-intercept. So you have a starting point and then you just go to
Where are they giving? Oh, they're giving you the points here? Oh, yeah, they're giving you the points. Yeah, so just calculate. They want you to calculate the slope.
Yeah, but when you answer it, like on the homework, when you answer it, it has like 2 more additional questions.
Not this one. You must be picking another. This one says all parts are shown.
Oh.
So one of the other ones must be. So on this one, we're supposed to find the slope. This is the end of section 3.5. So find the slope. So the slope, there's the 2 points. So what do we do when they give us 2 points, 4 numbers to find slope?
Find the equation.
Yeah, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is what? x1 here, y1 there, x2 here, y2 there. Is that on the screen? Barely. All right, so then that'll equal y2, which is the fifth, what is it? 581,146, comma 146, minus y2, which is 340,573 over 3 minus 1.
It's 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 3.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, never mind.
No, not so. Yeah, so whatever that is, some big number, you can use your calculator. You can use calculators on everything, so can I just go dot, 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 hit the buttons on the calculator? Is that okay? Or do you want me to, I could do that number on the top maybe. I don't know. Probably too big for me. 340, I don't know what it is. 221, so it's probably 220. I don't know. Anybody got it in their calculator? 220? Oh, 240?
The top number.
Oh, you're right. I'm messing up. Yeah, so what was it again? 240?
573.
240,573 over 2? That's off the screen. 240,573. 240,573. Over 2. And then that answer is 120, comma 250, 250, and 285, 286.5. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There it is. 120, 286.5. So just subtract and divide in your calculator. And that's all there is to that one. So they give you the points and you do that. All right, let's go to the next section. You got it? As long as you got this first part, you're good. The rest is just hit the buttons on the calculator. Oh, you're right. I better look at the rounding. Yeah. They said round to the nearest whole percent. I didn't even notice. So round, person, not percent, not person. Round to the nearest whole person. So we got, what do we got? We got 120, 286.5. Rounded to 120, 287, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the answer they want from us.
So in this particular chapter or whatever this is, section, when they're asking for a rate, it's basically asking for a slope.
Yes, rate is always slope. Rate is always slope, exactly. Rate's just a fancy word for slope. That's because the rate is like miles per hour. Like you drive your car, your speed, your rate. say 50 miles an hour, that's 50 miles over 1 hour. It means a fraction, and then like a slope. All right. Let's, okay. So let me give you some instructions about parallel and perpendicular and all that. Parallel. What are parallel lines? Yeah, they go the same direction, huh? Never cross. Parallel. So what do you think about how steep they are compared to each other? Is one of them steeper than the other?
They're gonna have the same slope.
Same steepness, same slope, right? Parallel means they're equally steep, right? Does that make sense? Equal steepness. So their slopes are equal. So parallel lines have equal slopes. Equal slopes. Same steepness. All right. So let's take our first equation here. X plus 8 equals y. I'm looking at these two equations up here. Grabbing the first one. So x plus 8 equals y. Can you guys tell me, just looking at that equation, what is the slope of that line?
1.
Yeah, right on. Where are you getting that from?
It's next to the X.
Yeah, slope is always next to x, huh? When y is alone, which y is alone, so it's all good. So the slope's right there. So the slope's 1. Good. So the slope for that one is 1. Now what about the other one? Y minus x is negative 4. What's his slope?
Negative 1.
Is it negative 1?
Positive.
Or positive.
Yeah, you can't look right now. You can't go, oh, it's right here, it's negative 1. That's wrong. Why? That's what we did there? What's my problem all of a sudden?
But it's on the wrong
gotta
side.
add it
You
to
have to
the
switch
side.
the side.
Good.
So it's gonna become positive.
Is everybody catching that? That's exactly it, right? So the slope is only next to x when y is alone. So you have to get y alone. So let me write that. So get y alone, then the slope is next to x. So get y alone, then the slope is next to x. So I've got to grab this guy and move it over, huh? We always get y alone in these equations, don't we? It's always what we do. So we get y, and so when that negative x jumps over, it becomes a positive x.
Yeah, they have the same slope, so they're gonna be parallel.
Yeah. All right, yeah, so what's his slope? Now we can look right here and say, what's his slope? Plus 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
And if they're gonna be perpendicular, it's the negative inverse of the slope, isn't it?
oh yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's hold with this for just a second. So are you guys tracking with me?
Yeah.
So, what's that?
How'd you get the negative 4?
It was already there in the beginning.
Oh.
And I'm not doing anything with the negative 4. So I'm just looking at I just got y alone and I look next to x. Does that make sense? Okay, so the slopes are both 1, aren't they?
Yeah.
Both slopes are 1, so these lines are parallel. All right. Let's All right. So let's take y plus 5 equals 4x. All right. So let's take that one. And what do you have to do to get the slope for that one? Yeah. Yeah, so you got to get y alone, right? Right? That's what I just wrote. So get y alone. Get y alone. And then the slope is next to x. So get y alone and the slope will be next to x. So grab the 5 and jump it over. And that'll become a 4x minus 5. And what's the slope?
4.
So the slope is right there. Good, so that's for that equation. Now let's do the other equation. Okay. Now for that one, we've got to also get y alone.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to divide by -1, so it's not equal.
All right, so yeah, I think you're right. So grab that negative 4x and jump it over there, like that. Negative y equals 4x plus 4. Is that good? So that negative 4x jumped to the other side, became a positive 4x. But the y is not alone yet, is it? It's got the minus sign in front of it. Yes, it's got negative. It doesn't like that. Want to get rid of that. So what do we do to get rid of that minus sign? Divide through by -1. Y equals negative 4x minus 4. Right, everybody see what happened there? Right, remember, two negatives makes a positive, but one negative is just negative when they're multiplied and divided. So positive over negative is negative. Positive over negative is negative. We good? So the slope here is negative 4. So we get a negative 4. So what was the other one slope? Oh, right here. So there's the two slopes. 4 and negative 4. So are those parallel then?
No, they're gonna be perpendicular.
It's not perpendicular. We'll get to perpendicular in a minute. Just for now. Parallel or not? No. Not parallel, right? Those are not parallel. That's all they're asking. Are they parallel? No. Because they're not equal. 4 does not equal negative 4. Right? So we'll say not parallel because 4 does not equal negative 4. You with me? The two slopes. When we got y alone, so we take both equations and we get y alone. Take those two slopes and we ask if they're equal or not. And they're not. So it's not they're not parallel lines. In fact, one of them's going up and one of them's going down. One's a positive slope line, one's a negative. They're not parallel, would be our answer. Is that good? We good? All right. All right, let me give you a second to think about that. X equals 5 and x equals 4. Are they parallel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just put the 5. It's the line on the bottom of it. It's straight.
Yeah, you can't do the method I was just saying, huh?
You do?
You know, I was just saying the whole get y alone, and there's no y. You can't get y alone and solve for here. Look next to x. That's what I was saying, huh? Get y alone, look next to x. You can't do that. There's no y's. So then what you got to do is this is a weird one. You just got to kind of think to yourself for a minute. Okay, wait a minute now. X equals 5 and the other one x equals 4. What kinds of lines are those? Remember what we learned when you only have one letter? What kind of line you are?
Vertical.
Yeah, either you're straight, either vertical or horizontal, huh? Which one is x equals 5?
Vertical.
Yeah, and how do you know you go over to 5 on the x-axis? Right, go over to 5 on the x-axis. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right there, boom, there's x equals 5. And what's x equals 4? We go over to 4. And boom, I missed a little bit.
What's confusing for me is that a vertical x line is going to be parallel to the y-axis.
I know, it's not natural, is it?
No, it's
Because normally we think x is like sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You got to kind of be careful because you put that in your 2x5 card.
It gets mixed up in my
Yeah,
head sometimes.
definitely for the next test in a week, on my 3x5 card, I would put an example because it isn't natural, honey. I just would naturally immediately think x is sideways. But actually they end up and down, don't they, when it just has x? Because it goes through the x-axis at 5 and 4. Yeah, so put that on your 3x5 card, an example of those so you don't get twisted around. Anyway, so now we have a picture of them. One of them's over 5, one of them's over 4. Are they parallel? Absolutely. Yeah, they're parallel. So that one's a yes. Parallel, yes. on that one, once we realize they're both just straight vertical lines. That's right. Let's see. Perpendicular. All right. Determine if these are perpendicular. So let me give you the official rules of perpendicular. I can spell it out. Perpendicular. There will be a spelling test on that. I'm just kidding. All right. So perpendicular lines are lines kind of like this. They're opposite direction. You know, like an intersection? So, you know, parallel streets go the same way. Perpendicular streets are like at an intersection. They go opposite ways, you know? So they meet at 90 degrees. Yeah, I'm not going to quiz you on the 90-degree thing. They have a right angle if you remember some of your geometry, but it's fine if you don't. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, they go opposite directions. That's all you guys need to know. And their slopes are opposite in two ways. Instead of their slopes being the same, right, because parallel lines had same slopes, perpendicular lines are opposite, and here's how they're opposite. They're upside down from each other.
So if it's 3, it'd be 1/3.
Yes, 3 1/3, or 2/3 and 3/2, or 7/5 and 5/7.
And it'll be negative.
And one is positive, other is negative. One's positive, one negative. I'm not writing that out very clearly. One positive, one negative. They're opposite signs, in other words. One is positive, one is negative. Well, I wanted to write the word positive. Try that again. One's positive, one's negative. There we go. So that's what it means to be perpendicular. Perpendicular means that one's positive, one's negative, and they're upside down from each other. So let me give you some examples. So that would be like 2/3 and, well, it's going to go off the screen, isn't it? Let me put it over here. So that would be like 2/3 and -3/2. See how those are upside down and one's positive, one's negative. Does that make sense? Or, let's do some more. How about 5? What would be, so there, what just happened? So we got this one, this one. 5, what's the opposite or perpendicular slope to 5? What would it be? -1/5, right? Because it's got to be upside down, and upside, remember, 5 is really over 1. So upside down would be 1/5, and it's got to be one positive, one negative. Does that make sense? So how about if I gave you like -7? What would be the upside down perpendicular?
1/7.
So -7. What's the opposite of that one? What's the other slope that's perpendicular to -7? Positive 1/7. Because remember, it's got to be one negative, one positive, right? So if the first one's negative, then the second is positive, or vice versa. The first one's positive, the second one's negative. Is that good? It's always one positive, one negative, and they're upside down on each other. So notice how parallel means they're exactly the same. Perpendicular is like an intersection, they're completely the opposite. Upside down, one positive, one negative. Everything's the reverse. Okay, so with that in mind, let's see if we can answer the question. All right, so we're taking that first equation there. Y equals -9x plus 3. And we need to, first off, we need to get the slope for both of these, right? Get the slopes and then compare them and see if they're negative upside down from each other, right? So let you do that, guys. I'll give you a second rather than me just whipping it out. I think you'll get more out of it. So get the slope of that one. And then get the slope of the other one. Right, what's the slope of this first one? Yeah, it's already there. We don't need to mess with it at all, huh? We good on that one? And then let's take that second one. Like that. I kind of fix that a little bit. All right. So how do we get, for that one, we do have to mess around, huh, with the equation.
You move the x to the other side.
Yeah, so grab that x, good job. Right, we always have to get y alone, huh?
You flip the sign.
So when I jump that positive x to the other side, like that, and then last step is always divide, huh? Yeah. Is that good? So so what's the slope? So what's the slope on that one then? Good job, guys. Yeah, there's a 1 on the top, huh? Yeah. So how do these compare to each other? We get -9 and -1/9, right? Those are the two slopes. So are they perpendicular? Look, hold on now. Be careful. Suppose the $100,000 is on the line. You're gonna buzz in. You get one answer. Are these perpendicular? For the money.
They're both negative.
They're both negative. They're trying to trick us, huh? You gotta have one positive and negative. They are upside down. That all's great, but they're both negative. So no, they've got to be completely opposite in every way. One's got to be positive. One's got to be negative, and they're upside down of each other. Yeah, this is no. So this is not perpendicular because both are negative, right? We good there? So that was a trick one. They're trying to trick you. Okay, let's do that one then, definitely. All right, so 5/27 x minus y over 3 equals 1.
Are your notes sitting on Excel? Like these notes that you write out, do you save them anywhere?
Oh, these are on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these lectures are on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, are y'all aware of that? You can get these off of YouTube? Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to stay a little closer to the thing, though, but I guess my voice wanders. So I'll try to stay a little closer. But yeah, so it's out there on YouTube. So I know, because I know I go too fast for some people. You know, it's tricky. If I can just be straight up as a teacher, some of you guys can do this stuff without even coming to class. You already know it. And some of you guys need me to go super slow. And if I went that slow, I wouldn't get through the material. So I have to teach towards the middle of the class. So I just want to be faithful to the group of 50 of you. I have to aim towards the middle. So I know some of you are going, come on, Mr. Aaron. In fact, I had a couple people in the first week that came out and went, Mr. Aaron, this class is way too easy. This is ridiculous. You're going so slow. And I've had other people in this class tell me I'm going way too fast. So the truth is I have to aim towards the middle. So if you're one of those people I'm going too fast for, that's why I have the YouTubes. Go out there and listen to those. You know, you can play it as slow as you want, rewind it, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Question?
no, it's just like when I'm doing my homework, sometimes I forget.
Yeah, totally.
So it shows all the stuff.
It does. Just exactly what I'm writing up there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go out there and grab it. Yeah, I know. All right, so this one's a big royal pain. Why don't we first grab this and just move it over there? That'd be a good start. So then minus y over 3. Here, let me move this over. So minus y over 3 is minus 5/27 x plus 1. We good to there? Oops. Whoops. Having some technical problems. All right, so we good to there so far? I jumped the 5/27 x to the other side. Now here comes the tricky step, guys. I got to get rid of the minus sign and the 3. Because y wants to be alone, right? I got to get y alone. So how do I get y alone? What am I going to do there?
Multiply 3.
Yeah, you could multiply by 3. It'd be a little quicker to do -3. because that way you'll get rid of the negative and the 3. You could do a second step to divide through by -1 to get rid of that. That'd work too. But this would be a little quicker. But whenever you multiply, you got to go all the way, huh? All the way across like that. -3, -3, -3. Here, the 3's will cancel and the 2 negatives will make positive. So that worked. That got y alone. Good to there so far? On the other side, 2 negatives, positive. And where does that 3, well, actually, you know what I'm forgetting to do, guys? That 3, remember when you multiply, they're supposed to cross cancel? Like 3 goes into 27 9 times, huh? Yeah, it's a 3 over 1, exactly. Yeah, the 3 is really over 1, huh? And it cross cancels. Remember that? Whenever we multiply a fraction by a whole number, it's really over 1 and it cross cancels. I know that's a tricky step for a lot of people. Is that good there? And so we're left with, and it's positive because the 2 negatives make positive. 5x over 9 minus 3. Let me hold up. Do you see how I did that? Because see the 2 negatives here? See there's 2 negatives? So those 2 negatives make positive, don't they? And 5 is left on the top and 9 on the bottom.
Multiply -5
Times -3? No, he canceled. Into 23 into 27 9 times. I divided. So he's gone. Good question. Everybody see that? That's the mistake I see a lot when I grade this kind of stuff. Right? People want to multiply. Remember, he canceled. So he's not there anymore. He divided into the 27 and the 9 is left. The 3 and the 27 are both gone on that. Good question.
Well, even if you cross cancel, still 1, so 1.
Sure. You could do 1, yeah.
Why you got it possibly 5 without any?
Oh, 2 negatives.
But you said that's canceled out.
The 3 cancel. The negative is, the 2 negatives make positive.
Still -1.
Sure, that'll work too. Does that make sense? So the 2 negatives make positive. The 3, it does something separate from his minus sign. The 3 separately goes into the 27. And the minus goes over here and hits that minus to make plus. Yeah, they kind of separate. There. Does that make sense on that? And then at the back, -3 times 1 is just -3. Is that good? Yeah. Oh yeah, so here, again, the 3's canceled, and the 2 negatives separately hit each other positive. Does that make sense? So the negatives, just with the negatives, the easiest thing is just, if there's 2 negatives, positive. If there's only 1 negative, it's just negative. Yeah, does that make sense? And you don't have to worry about cross-canceling and stuff with negatives. Just count the negatives. You got 2 of them, it's positive. And then do the rest of the stuff after that. So what's the slope? So why did we do all that y alone? Well, because we need the slope, huh? When you get y alone, where's the slope now? Yeah, right there. There's the slope. For that one, there's the slope. So 5/9. Now I'm only halfway there. I got to do the other one now. So let's do the other one. Okay, now for this one, I got to do him. So 9/5. This will be much easier, though. Okay, I got to get y alone. So grab the 9/5 x and jump it over. So minus y plus 1. Oh, and the 1. Just jump both them over. It'd be minus 9/5 x minus 1. Is that on the screen? No. Let me move that. I don't know why the screen doesn't show the whole thing. So minus y equals minus 9/5 x minus 1. Are we good to there so far, guys? Do you see how remember when things jump to the other side of the equal sign, the sign in front of them changes. So the 9/5 x and the plus 1 jump over here, and the sign in front changes, the sign in front changes. Is that good to there? And now y is almost alone, but he still has that minus sign. So how do I get rid of that? Yeah, the -1 thing, huh? So let's divide through by -1, -1, -1, -1. And dividing by 1 doesn't change any of the numbers, it just changes signs, huh? Right? So then what do we have? Y equals, So the two negatives, positive 9/5. Two negatives, positive. It just changed both the signs, huh? Is that good? None of the numbers actually changed. So what's the slope on that one? There's the slope, yeah. I can't even remember now what the other one was. What was the other one? Was it? I'll go back. Let's see. Positive 5/9. This is positive 9/5. So let me go over here. Just get that copy down. Is that okay? So what's the story then? So one of the slopes was 5/9. It's the first one we did on the other screen. Back over here. 5/9. See it right here? 5/9. And then this one is 9/5. So we have 5/9. And they're both positive, notice, right? Let me go back. Positive 9/5. Positive 5/9. Both positive, huh? So are they perpendicular? Not. They're trying to trick us again, huh? Not perpendicular because they're both positive. They're supposed to have one positive, one negative, huh? They are upside down again, but they're both positive. They're supposed to be one positive, one negative. So they're running that trick a lot. All right. Whoops. So, okay, so this one, what do you think, guys? We have one that has X only, one that has Y. You know the deal with this now, right? What does that mean about the way those lines look when you have only one letter?
Horizontal, vertical.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're going to go like this, aren't they? One's perfectly sideways, one is perfectly vertical, right? Because the X equals 5, that means go over on the X-axis to 5, 4, 5 right there. I always miss. There's the X equals 5 line, huh? And the other one, Y is negative 8, go down the Y. This is the Y axis here, huh? This is the X. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, I'm doing better. Down there at negative 8. There's that one. So what do you think about those lines? Yeah, they're certainly perpendicular, huh? So we'll say yes. They are perpendicular. We don't even need to mess with the equations. That's kind of nice when they only have one letter, huh? You don't have to mess around. You're just like, yeah, perpendicular. Yeah, good question. Notice the slope is, the slope for this one, yeah, let me mention, the slope for this one is actually 0. It's flat. And the slope, you know what the slope for a vertical line is?
Undefined.
It's actually undefined. It's so steep you can't even give it a number. It's undefined. Yeah. But they're not asking us that. They're just saying, hey, are they perpendicular? And our answer is yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
asked the first time,
Did they?
yeah, the first question,
Back on number 1.
was asking for slope of the line.
Okay, yeah. So this one is 0 slope. Let me write that in. And this one is undefined slope.
So I put in 0 and then it was wrong, so I was like, well, then it would be undefined.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, you want to put that, I would definitely put that on my 3x5 card, guys, for the test in a week. This test, remember, I want to encourage you to prepare well. This test is harder than the first one, right? But, you know, the first test was really review, a lot of A's, like half the class. That's great. I love that. Second test always goes a lot worse, but it doesn't have to. I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm saying, hey, you need to study harder for the second one. It's going to be a lot more difficult. You've got the practice exams, right? They're up there on the first page of Math Excel under announcements, right? So start looking at that thing even a week in advance. Hang out with Roberto, our class tutor, or other tutors. You know, go over the YouTubes, work through those practice exams. I've written them all out. But this exam's quite a bit harder. All the rest of the other 4 exams are, because it's new stuff for most people, all the graphing and everything on that. Question?
Why would that one be undefined? That's
Yeah,
what I was gonna ask.
it's too steep to give a number to. Yeah, because it's perfectly steep. It's actually perfectly steep. Yeah, so yeah, like if you tried to do rise over run, yeah, like let me show you by like practical calculation. If you tried to say, well, I'll just calculate it. What is it? Slope is rise over run. Well, think about what would happen if you tried to say, yeah, slope is rise over run, okay? And if you go, say, from this point to that point on that line, what would be the rise? I don't know, 5 or 6 or whatever. What's the run? 0 run. Sideways is 0, huh? When you go from one point to the other, you go straight up, so you don't go sideways at all.
Yeah.
You have no run, and what happens when you divide by 0? You can do it on your calculator. You guys have a calculator? Take 5 and divide by 0. Error. It's undefined. It's not a number. You can't divide by 0. It's undefined. Yeah, so that means there's no number. It's too big to have a number. It's infinity and beyond, like Buzz Lightyear or whatever, right? It's more than infinity. So, all right.
It doesn't incline or decline.
I'm sorry?
It doesn't incline or decline.
Right. It just goes perfectly straight. All right, so number 3. So x. Hey, can I just make it equals for a minute? Let me just pretend they said equals. Well, let me not pretend they said. I'll leave it as, but I'll just ignore it. I won't do anything with it at first. Just, there it is. Just pretend it's an equals. How would you graph that thing? Forget about the greater than less than. We'll handle that in a minute. Just go ahead and pretend it says equals. How would you graph that thing? What do we always do to graph an equation? A line. What's the first thing we need to do?
Get y by itself.
Get y by itself, right?
You're gonna treat the greater than symbol just like an equal sign.
Yeah, at first. Yeah, so go ahead and just get y alone. So what do I do to get y alone? Divide by 6. Y is over here saying get rid of the 6. I want to be alone.
That's pretty much saying 1/6 over x.
Exactly. I like the way you're saying that. Let's do that. It's 1/6 next to x, huh?
Yeah.
Good so far? So can we go to the graph now?
Well, yeah, if you put the y-intercept as 0.
Good. Yeah, because right out here there's supposed to be some kind of starting number and there's nothing, so it's like a plus 0. It's a 0, huh? We good with that?
Y equals 1/6 x plus 1.
So we good so far? Because I don't want to race ahead because I know this confuses people. So are we okay to there? So what am I doing? I'm trying to get the y alone. It's what we always do for graphing, huh? Most of this section will be like nothing new. It'll just be one step at the end where we decide which side to shade that'll be new. Everything else is just the same about how we've been graphing lines all the time. And how do we graph lines? We get y alone, right? We get y alone. We divide by whatever's next to y. So y is alone. But then we do need a number out here, so we just make it 0 because it's missing.
The sign doesn't flip on this one? The sign doesn't flip because we divide.
Good question. Divide by negative, the sign flips. Yeah, really good question. Yeah, if I had divided by -6, we would have flipped that sign. She's right on the money, huh? Exactly. But I just divided by +6, so it doesn't. Good. Okay, so we start at 0, so that's right there in the middle, huh? The origin. That's our first dot, starting it up 0. Everybody good with that? And then what do we do with the 1 and the 6? What do we always do? Rise and run. That's the slope. So I go up 1 over 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I off the screen? Okay, right there.
No, 6.
Over 1 up 6. Connect the dots. We good so far? This is over 6. Yeah, we'll do some of that stuff in a minute, but oh, it's off the screen. Always have trouble with these graphs because it doesn't show the whole screen. Let me fix it. Yeah, so first one's at 0, 0, the origin. The other one's up 1 over 6. Right there, and connect the dots. Okay, we all good to there so far. That's nothing new. That's all stuff we've done before, right? I haven't done anything about the greater than, less than yet. I'm about to. But you always get y alone. So I divided by 6. There's no number out here, so make it 0. So start at 0, then go up 1 over 6. Right? Up 1 over 6. Now, we have to decide the greater than, less than. Do you know what that means? That means there's shading on one side or the other. And you know which side it is based upon greater is above and less is below. For y, though, you got to be careful. What is it saying from y's perspective? Y is, what does it say? What side of the symbol is y on? Is y getting the wide side or is y getting the narrow side?
Less than.
Y is getting the narrow side, less than.
Eating the bigger number.
Sure. Does that make sense? Y is on the lesser, the narrow side of the symbol, not the wide side. So it's always, you got to go where y is. Because a lot of people make the mistake with these symbols is they think you always just read left to right. That's not true. That's not true. You read starting by what you're focused on. What are we focused on? Y. It's all about y. Wherever y is, give y's perspective on the issue. Y says I'm less. The x stuff is greater than y. The y is less than the x stuff, huh? So the y is less. So we're supposed to shade the lesser y values. The y-axis, you know, this is the y-axis right here, huh? This is the y-axis. We're supposed to shade the lesser y values. Where are the lesser y values? Down below the line. You're supposed to shade everything below the line. And I'll show you how to do that on Math Excel. I have a little paint bucket. I'll show you in just a second. Does everybody get that idea? See what happens? So I just did all the normal graphing stuff. Get y low, start at 0, go up 1/6. Connect the two dots. Shade below because y is less. Y is less. Lesser stuff is, well, if the symbol was the other way, if it was like that, y greater, y on the wide side, y greater, I would have shaded above the line.
Desmos helps with examples.
Desmos is fabulous.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I have that.
So easy to use for graphing things. It's
Yeah.
really nice. You just put the equation that does it right there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for examples, if you input the equation, it'll show you exactly.
Yeah, and then you change the equation. You see the graph change? Really nice. Yeah, free software. Desmos, DESMOS.
Yeah.
Great, great site. Yeah. Anyway, one last thing. We're not when you don't have the equals bar. See how it doesn't say less than or equal. So we have to dot the line. Yeah, basically, if you know the bottom, that's the bottom of an equals, right? That line, when it's there, it means less than or equal. And you guys know when it does, what if it just said equals? From the beginning, what if it just said equals? The whole graph would have just been the line, huh? I wouldn't have had any shading at all. So remember, keep that in mind. The line is the equals part, right? Isn't that, when there's just an equals, we graph just a line. No shading, right? So the line is the equals. The line is the equals. So if they don't have the equals, then we're not supposed to have the line. So what you need to do is you go back and you turn it into a dotted line by my little erasing thing there. You turn that into a dotted line, and what you're really saying is the line is not part of the answer. It's just kind of a border, but it's not really included in the answer. It's only the shading below the line. All these points below the line that are shaded. Does that make sense on that? So if we had the equals, I would keep the line solid. So let me write that in a new screen for you. So if you have y, let me just write out everything we just observed. Y less than or equal to that, and y less than. So shade below. Oh, come on, get out of my way there. Shade below, solid line. This is shade below, dotted line. Y greater than or equal to is shade above, solid line. And y greater is shade above, dotted line. Everybody seeing how that plays out? So when y is on the narrow side, when y is getting the narrow side of the symbol, you shade below. Solid bar, you have a solid line. No solid bar, no solid line is done. Does that make sense? So that's the story. Otherwise, this section is just the same as all the other line graphing sections we've done. Just at the very end, you've got to decide which side to shade and whether the line should be solid or dotted. Otherwise, there's nothing new in this section. Let's do a couple together. Getting that? Just a second. Good. Sure. So I'm trying to do the hardest ones with you. All right. So x minus y greater than 4. All right, we're doing good. We got more than 15, a little over 15 minutes left. We're more than halfway through our last section. We'll finish with a little quicker quiz. All right, so try that one. Go ahead and graph that one. Is this one, by the way, is this one, guys, going to be a solid line or a dotted line?
Dotted.
It's going to be dotted. Yeah, how do you know right away? No solid bar, no equals bar, right? So no solid bar, no solid line. It's dotted. That's right. It's going to be a dotted line. What do you have to do whenever we graph anything?
Negative x plus y.
Get y alone. What happens if you divide by a negative number?
Yeah, but the
Sign's gonna change.
You got to flip that symbol when you divide through by -1 in the second step, right? The two negatives, don't worry about them. The two negatives make positive.
Okay, yeah,
By the
so it's
side.
gonna be a positive.
But then you got to do this, because that also divides by 2. Positive 5.
I needed to remember the rule of that because I tried to put it in and
Yeah, two negatives always make positive.
minus 1.
So check with those around you, see if you're getting the same answer.
And a sim flip.
Good for the first step. We always got to get y alone. So I just grab that x and jump to the other side, and it becomes a negative x. Get to there. Like that. And then we do have to get rid of that minus sign in front of the y, right? So what do we do to get rid of that minus sign?
Divide by -1.
Yeah, divide by the -1. And I just divided by a negative.
And you flip the sign.
So you gotta flip it. Yep, I'm gonna write a little note. When divide by negative, flip the symbol, huh? Is it on the screen? Mostly. Yeah. So bad that screen only shows like half of my thing. When divide by negative, flip the symbol. Flip the symbol. Okay. So I'm divided by negative right here. So I'm going to turn the symbol the other way. It's going to go like this. Right? So y less than. Now we good to there. What happens here, guys? That looks like a 4. Why does that look like a 4? Divided by -1. Anyway, right, it's two negatives, it's positive, right? And positive over negative is negative. Is that too quick? Are we okay with that? So two negatives make positive or regular. Nothing in front, positive. And positive over negative makes negative.
Yeah.
So the signs are always what's right in front of the number or letter. So what's in front of this x is nothing, positive. In front of the 4 is negative. It's positive or negative is negative. Good, and the symbol flipped. We good to there? Now we're ready to graph, right? Where do we start on our graph? That -4. That's going to be our starting point, huh? Right, and what fraction is in front of that x? 1 over 1, huh? Yeah, so go ahead and I'll move that to a new screen. Go ahead and graph it if you have not. And then you got to decide which side the shading is. And it's all about y. Just look at y and the symbol. Don't even look at anything else. And I mean on the last line, not the beginning, but the way we have it in the end. Just circle y and the symbol. Just look right at that. Don't even think about anything else. And ask yourself, is y less or is y greater? Which side of the symbol is y getting? And that'll tell you whether to shade above or to shade below. Right? Greater is above. Greater y values are above. Lesser y values are below. Right? Positives are above. Negatives are below. Huh? Greater above. Lesser below. So y less than 1 over 1 x minus 4. So start here. -4. Right there. And then we go rise over run. Up 1. up 1 over 1 right there. And I'm going to connect them with what kind of line? Yeah, dotted. Dotted line, that's hard to see. Maybe I should do more like this. A dotted line. So dotted line. Okay, and now, is the shading going to be above that line or is it going to be below that line? Y is less. So that's shading below. Lesser things are below. Does that make sense? You might have seen another method. There's another good method where you plug in a checkpoint in the origin. That's good too. I won't bother you with it. If you love that and want to do that, grab me after class. I'll be glad to remind you of exactly how this works. But I think this is easier. Just look at the last step. Y less is below. No questions on that? All right, let's try that one. 3x plus 4y less than or equal to 12. So you know what to do, right? You got to get the y alone. I'll wander around. Let me know if I can help. Feel free to check with those around you as much as you can out of these couple hours.
Less than or equal to negative 3x.
Solid, solid.
Okay, so we have to grab the 3x. Got to get y alone, right? Is that okay on that first step? That making sense? Like that. And then divide through by 4. Do I flip the symbol?
No.
Because I do not. You're right. Because I'm only dividing by. Yeah, it's only when you do negative. They flip. Yeah, we all good? So we're not flipping the symbol. It's only when you divide by a negative, right? Okay. So that gets y alone. And 12 over 4, that's just 3, huh? We good to there? So we're ready to graph now, right? We got the y alone, so we're ready to graph. All right. So let's go to the graph now. So go ahead and graph it. So less than or equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. So y less than or equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. So we start at the 3. 1, 2, 3. Right in the middle, right? The first dot's always right in the middle. Started up 3. And then where do we go from there?
Down 304.
Yeah, but this is the rise over the run, huh? So I go down 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that good? Down 3 over 4, rise and run. Right, that minus sign, you put it on the top, don't you? Remember, minus is always to the top of a fraction. All right, so all this stuff coming together for you. And then we connect them. Is it a solid line or dotted?
Solid.
Yeah, because we have the solid bar. Huh. Right, this equals bar here. Right? All right. So last question, am I going to shade above it? On the multiple choice test next Monday, have the 4 graphs, and some will have shading above and some below. You take a look at the practice exam, you'll see what I mean. So which way is it? Shaded above or shaded below? It's all about y. Don't even worry about anything else, huh? Just what does it say about y? Y is less. Where's the lesser stuff? Below the line or above the line? below. Lesser stuff is below the line. Hold on, we got one more. We still got more than 5 minutes, guys. I want to use all that time. You've paid for the whole time. I want to give you your whole money's worth.
So in the test, 500 still.
Yeah, we'll get there. Quiz, we'll get there. All right. So x is less than minus 2. Try that one.
It's the same thing.
Okay, so which way are we going to shade? What kind of a line is it first? It's dot. Oh yeah, good. Dot. It doesn't have the solid bar, does it? So it's going to be a dotted line, and it's a straight line, huh? Because it just has one letter. Where is it? X-axis -2. Oh, it's supposed to be dotted, huh?
Yeah.
So I should dot that. Kind of like that. Do the best I can. All right, there it is. Whatever. Sort of dotted. All right. So now, this one's tricky as far as should we shade the right side of it or should we shade the left side? This one doesn't have an up-down thing, does it? Because it goes all the way up and all the way down. It just has a right-left. So how do you know whether to shade the right or left? It's in this case, it's all about there is no y. Normally we get y alone. There is no y. So we got to go with x, huh? What does it say about, just look at x and look at the side of the symbol x. Here's the x-axis. Here's the big numbers, the positives. Here's the negatives, way over there. Negatives that way, positives that way, right on the x-axis. What does it say? X is less. X is getting the narrow side. So x less, it says x less. So where's the lesser x values? Negative values, huh? Yeah, that way. I get reversed. It's this way, huh? It's to the left of the line. Does that make sense? That's where the negative x values are. The lesser stuff. We good there? Questions on that? Does that make you happy? All right. Let me get us a quiz here. Let me get this up. So those 3 sections are due Wednesday. It's a lot of work. We finished all the material, by the way. It's on exam number 2. All right, there's our clicker quiz. So I would use my notes, or just like the ones we just did. Go ahead and solve that one and click in your answer. This is how it'll look on the test next Monday. It'll be a question to graph up there and then multiple choice options. It's one of those 4. It's not E. Don't click E. It's A, B, C, or D. It is one of those 4. That's the way it'll be on the test. It'll be one of those 4. Oh, okay. Not these. Go back to the first.
Negative 3x minus y. Less than or equal to 15.
This is the first.
for the y. You need to put the y. This is subtraction. You subtract the 3. You add the 3. It's not yeah.
3x plus 15.
Are we clicking in? We all clicking in and all that?